can. And secondly, because I want to say something that I want to remember.
Okay.
Which is what we're talking about really is something like a knowledge management system. And a knowledge management system, or for example, a website, requires what's called an information architecture. So there are these books that came out several years ago on information architecture. You're going to build a website, a big website, you need an information architecture telling you what information you're storing, where you're storing it, how you refer to it, how you change it, all that sort of stuff. So there's something called knowledge management systems and information architecture and all that sort of stuff. Now, typesetting is a way of representing knowledge. And it makes knowledge easier to understand, easier to read, easier to communicate. The typography reflects the information, the structure of the knowledge, or rather the structure of the knowledge as stored in the information management system. The information management system provides a structure for the storage of knowledge, just as laying out a city into blocks provides a structure for the layout of the houses. Now, all the way up until about 1960, typography and the process that went into typography, the editorial process, the authoring process, the markup language. Markup used to be something that you wrote on a piece of paper, which was the author's manuscript, saying how it should be translated into the typographic codes. That was originally what markup was. It was actually marking on a piece of paper. And the typesetting system was the culmination and record of the information architecture and the knowledge management system. And another example of that is the creation of the complete Oxford Dictionary, where a number of people, and I can't remember the name of it, but he had an annex to his house that was full of slips of paper about words, and it was an enormous enterprise. And he had a knowledge management system, and the output of that knowledge management system was typeset. So all this aggregation of knowledge produces a typeset output, and the typeset output becomes the embodiment of the knowledge that has been stored. When somebody whose name is Aldous Manutius, he was named after the PageMaker program that was popular in the 1980s, or perhaps it was the other way around. He produced the first paperbacks, books that would fit in your pocket. And to make his version of the Greek classics or Dante's Inferno or whatever, he would get hold of manuscript copies from as many people as he could borrow, and he would assemble editorial teams to collate the copies and produce, so to speak, a clean copy that could be used from the typesetting. And then it was typeset. So that's an example of how the print process brought into existence knowledge management to produce a critical edition, or at least a standard edition, if you like, of Dante's Inferno, and disseminated it in thousands of copies. Now, let's go back again. Typesetting was the culmination of knowledge management, and in some sense the driver, all the way up until the 1960s. And that includes the newspapers. You had massive printing work set up, so information could be transmitted from London to Birmingham on the train. You get newspapers transmitted, the daily newspapers transmitted from London to Birmingham on the train and then distributed. Everything has changed now, and typesetting is separate from the information management system. We have an information management system, the last step of which is the typesetting. And that typesetting might not even take place. So we have to, so to speak, adapt to an information management system that is not our own and should not be our own as tech developers and tech users. We are the servant of the information management system. I'll leave the recording on until somebody tells me to turn it off, in case you want to comment on this.
I'd just like to mention that page numbers are kind of useless in a dictionary.
Are there any other places where page numbers are useless?
Well, anything that is recording something that is ordered, probably something else that it's ordered besides the pages.
So an address book, a phone book.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's already ordered, you're searching it to find what you want, and you don't need the page numbers.
In fact, anything that's got its own landmarks. You don't need milestones if you've got landmarks, except to know how far things are.
Well, the landmarks have to be ordered, otherwise you need, because that gives you a way to find something. If they're not ordered, then you need something outside the band to tell you how to get to a particular point in it, which is what a page number is.
Now, here's something interesting, which when I search for something on Google, the things come out in an order. And if I search for something else, I might get the same results in a different order because of whatever. So, but there's no actual order on the pages. Google just sort of puts an order on them. So I'm looking for something. I'm looking for the address of Joe Smith. And one way is to look in my address book, and my address book is well organized, or I can look on the internet, and the internet is not well organized, so I do a search and have to look at all these results, one of which might contain the result, the thing. Search is quite interesting because that's part of knowledge management and information management. The ability to search PDF or the inability to search PDF is really important in terms of search visibility. Shall I turn the recording off?